Introduction to Project Management Phases. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the lecture on Introduction to Project Management Phases. Understanding project management. At its simplest, project management is a structured discipline that guides planning, execution, and monitoring of a set of tasks in order to achieve a specific goal. And this goal can be anything from developing new software to constructing a building to organizing a massive events. Project management ensures that time, cost, and quality constraints are properly balanced, enabling teams to deliver successful outcomes. Why is project management so important? Uh, it's because in today's complex environment, projects often involve multiple teams, specialized resources, and strict timelines. Without a defined approach, it is easy to lose track of budget, scope, or even project direction. A well-defined project management process ensures accountability, risk management, and clear communication among stakeholders. So we often break project management into 5 core phases: initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and controlling, and closing. And each phase plays a unique role and supports the overall vision of the project. While you might see alternative models that vary slightly, uh, you might have seen some using 6 or 7 stages or combining certain processes. The underlying concept remains consistent. Finally, it is also worth noting that project management is tightly integrated with organizational strategy. Each project should be aligned with broader strategic objectives, and this alignment guarantees that the project outcomes contribute to the organization's long-term goals and mission. With this in mind, let's take a look at each phase and understand them in detail, starting from initiation all the way to closing. Phase 1, project initiation. In the project initiation phase, the goal is to transform an idea into a well-defined project. We start by clarifying the scope, basically the boundaries and extent of what the project aims to accomplish. And this might involve initial discussions with sponsors, a review of customer requirements, or analyzing market demands. During initiation, it is also critical to identify key stakeholders. Stakeholders are those individuals or groups who are impacted by the project or can influence its outcome. So they can be senior executives, department managers, end users, or even external partners or suppliers. By identifying these stakeholders early, we can understand their expectations and begin to map out potential support or resistance. A feasibility study or cost-benefit analysis often follows. This is an objective evaluation that helps answer questions like, is it viable to complete this project with our available resources? And does the potential benefit outweigh the cost? Depending on the complexity of the project, this analysis can range from a simple internal review to a comprehensive market study. And one of the key deliverables from the initiation phase is the project charter. And project charter is a concise document that formalizes the project's objectives, scope, high-level schedule, and estimated budget. It also names the project manager and outlines the authority they have to allocate resources. The charter acts as the official go-ahead to move to the planning phase and sets a reference point for future decisions. When this phase is done right, you gain organizational buy-in, clarity on what success looks like, and a rough idea of your constraints. If major red flags appear, perhaps the project is too risky, too expensive, or misaligned with strategy, management can decide to revise or halt the project before significant resources are invested. Phase 2, project planning. Once a project charter has been approved, you move into project planning phase, and this is the most extensive and critical phase. During planning, project managers and team members collaborate to define how the project will be executed, monitored, and controlled. It's here that we translate high-level goals into a workable blueprint. A key component of this blueprint is the project management plan. This plan is often composed of several subsidiary plans, such as the scope management plan, cost management plan, schedule management plan, and more. So the aim is to provide clear instructions on managing each aspect of the project. And to break down the project's tasks, uh, teams often create a what's called a work breakdown structure, also known as WBS. And the WBS visually decomposes the project into manageable packages or deliverables. And each deliverable is then assigned resources, budget estimates, and timelines so everyone understands what needs to be done by whom and by when. Next, we'll use tools like Gantt charts or advanced scheduling software to define activity durations and dependencies. And these visuals help spot potential bottlenecks in scheduling, ensuring the project plan is realistic and coherent. Alongside scheduling, we analyze potential pitfalls through risk identification. And each risk should be documented in a risk register along with mitigation or contingency strategies. Additional, Additionally, stakeholder communication is formalized in a communication management plan. Different stakeholders often need different frequencies and types of updates. This means some might need daily check-ins, while others might only require monthly dashboards. Clear communication mechanisms help prevent misunderstandings and keep everyone aligned. Ultimately, thorough planning doesn't guarantee zero obstacles, but it significantly increases the likelihood of success. By the end of the planning phase, teams should have a robust, documented roadmap that addresses scope, schedule, cost, quality standards, and risk management. Phase 3, project execution. In the project execution phase, the focus shifts from planning to action. Now, the plans formulated earlier are put into practice. First, you'll need to assemble your team. which could include internal staff, contractors, or external partners, and ensure everyone is equipped with the resources, tools, and authority they need to carry out their responsibilities. A huge part of effective execution is coordinating tasks and workflows. By following the schedule and work breakdown structures set in the planning stage, project managers track progress, manage resources, and ensure tasks are completed on time. So if any resource constraints or bottlenecks appear, the project manager must work quickly to resolve them or redirect resources as necessary. Quality management also becomes prominent at this stage through quality assurance activities like audits, peer reviews, and process checks. You confirm that each deliverable meets the required standards. And this stage isn't about final quality inspection alone. It is a continual process of building quality into every task as the project evolves. Managing stakeholder communications remains equally important. So regular meetings, status reports, or project dashboards keep stakeholders informed about progress, help gather feedback, and foster transparency. So effective communication can greatly reduce misunderstandings, scope creep, and conflict. Lastly, leadership plays a pivotal role. So project managers must keep their teams motivated, address interpersonal issues, and facilitate collaboration. Celebrating small wins can build morale and maintain momentum, while timely feedback and conflict resolution ensure that the team works cohesively. So this people-centric aspect of execution often determines whether a project is simply delivered or truly successful. As the project moves closer to tangible deliverables, it is essential to stay vigilant for any issues that might require realignment back to the planning phase. Phase 4, monitoring and controlling. So monitoring and controlling is the phase that runs concurrently with project execution. While the team is actively working on deliverables, the project manager or a dedicated project management office keeps an eye on various metrics to ensure the project remains on track. One key activity is tracking project progress against the baseline. The baseline set in the planning phase outlines the original scope, schedule, and budget. By comparing actual performance to these baselines, the project managers can quickly identify variances. So, for example, task running behind schedule or cost uh, going above estimates. And when these variances occur, some level of change management is usually required. Perhaps you need more resources or an additional week to complete a particular module, and any proposed changes to the project scope, schedule, or budget must typically go through an integrated change control process. This makes sure that all impacts are evaluated and approved by the relevant stakeholders before updates are made to the plan. Quality is also tested rigorously through quality control checks, and these checks aim to verify that deliverables actually match the requirements, and if discrepancies are found, teams take corrective actions to address defects or rework inadequate solutions. Risk management doesn't end with planning, it continues throughout execution. The project manager should periodically revisit the risk register, assess whether identified risks are becoming realities, and implement planned responses or escalate them if needed. So all of these monitoring and controlling activities feed into performance reporting. So regular reports, they often contain metrics like earned value or cost performance index, and they provide a clear data-driven snapshot of how the project is doing. And by sharing these reports with stakeholders, uh, project managers maintain accountability, transparency, and the ability to make informed decisions to keep the project aligned with its objectives. Phase 5, project closing, which is the last phase of the project, and this phase marks the formal conclusion of the project. So even if your team has delivered a product or solution, it is not truly over until you have completed a series of final steps that ensure nothing important is overlooked. First, you will want to confirm that all deliverables meet the required specifications and acceptance criteria. This means you typically perform a final review or acceptance test in collaboration with the project's key stakeholders or end users. Any minor lingering issues should be documented and either corrected or referred to post-project support if applicable. Next, you finalize documentation and administrative tasks, and this includes ensuring contracts are closed out, vendor payments are settled, and any outstanding invoices are reconciled. Proper documentation also requires archiving important project records, such as plans, schedules, change logs, and quality reports in a knowledge repository for future reference. Another essential step is to release resources. Project team members may be allocated to other initiatives once their responsibilities are complete. Equipment or facilities that were dedicated to the project can also be returned or reassigned. And this makes sure that you're not incurring unnecessary cost or blocking resources that could be used elsewhere. And uh, on often overlooked but highly valuable activities is capturing lessons learned by documenting what went well and what could be improved. You help future projects avoid repeating mistakes and replicate successes. And this reflection can be conducted through a formal meeting or in a retrospective session where team members provide feedback candidly. And lastly, celebrating success. It is important to recognize the hard work and accomplishments of the team, especially if the project overcame significant challenges. So a positive, meaningful closure helps reinforce a culture of achievement and readiness for the next project. And at this point, you can formally hand off deliverables, ensuring there is a smooth transition to operate or the client. Conclusion, we looked at all five core phases of project management. They are initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and controlling, and closing, and looked into how each phase plays an important role in achieving successful project outcome. So by understanding these phases, you can gain a systematic structure to plan, execute, and finalize projects of all schedule. And it is important to remember that project management is not static. Each project you manage or contribute to offers valuable lessons learned, whether it's a newly discovered risk or a better way of working with stakeholders or an improved scheduling techniques. These insights should feed back into the continuous improvement efforts. Okay, thank you for listening.